Welcome to the Kerri Lane Show. I'm Kerri Lane. Today, I'll show you how President Trump sends the media into a tailspin while the administration celebrates their first 100 days in office. Plus, the bombshell claims surrounding the 2024 election, and it's one you have not heard. And border czar Tom Homan drops a chilling warning the left doesn't want to hear. But first, the Democrat congressman who filed articles of impeachment against President Trump has a history of financial scams and has been accused of fraud multiple times in court filings.
This is Congressman Shri Thanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump.
In 2016, the Detroit News reported on a lawsuit against the congressman for making fraudulent and misleading claims to inflate the value of his company, which he sold in a deal that pocketed him roughly $20 million. The article also revealed his chemical analysis company crumbled when a lender dragged him to court. A bankruptcy judge then appointed a receiver to liquidate the business. This is a man who is in over $730,000 in debt and just filed impeachment charges against the president. Some on the right believe it's an effort to raise money for Trump's impeachment, but will actually be used to pay off his congressional campaign debt. Now, other news flying under the radar is Energy Secretary Chris Wright with a bombshell claim about the lengths Joe Biden was willing to go to try and win the 2024 election.
Is the price right enough, pun intended, I suppose, Mr. Secretary, to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve right now?
Oh, absolutely. We are refilling the reserve now, and we will continue to refill the reserve the whole time I'm in office. You know, that was just such an irresponsible action to drain that reserve so quickly for electoral reasons. And in fact, it was drained so fast, it did some damaging to the facilities. And so right now, we only can fill 2 of the 4 major salt caverns we have. So we're doing repair work on the other 2. We're slowly filling the other 2. And I'm trying to get some funds through Congress that'll give us a longer-term runway to fill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve at the fastest rate we can.
Translation: Biden burned through our emergency fuel stockpile for votes and broke the system in the process. Now we all have to pay to patch it back together. Speaking of money, this video is brought to you by DBR Currency, your go-to spot for rare and beautiful U.S. paper money. From vintage notes to classic bills that have been around since 1928, DBR buys, sells, and celebrates America's currency history. Got notes you want to sell? Maybe you want to start collecting? Just head to the website listed below. Thousands of treasures are waiting for you. All right, let's move to this. A senior Trump administration official now confirming that HSI arrested an alleged Tren de Aragua leader in Los Angeles County. He was in local custody on misdemeanor charges while using a fake name. He also has posted images on social media flaunting a rifle and grenades. He is a Venezuelan illegal alien and is now in custody on immigration violations. Now, this arrest coming on the heels of the White House lining their front lawn with posters of the illegal criminals that they've arrested so far in a masterful plan to force legacy media to cover the very people they've been trying to cover up. I'm sure you won't be surprised when I tell you it triggered the left. Watch this.
The White House has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from the White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you.
So the White House seized on this moment and posted this, quote, "Chess, not checkers. MSNBC finally reports on the child rapists, murderers, fentanyl dealers, and violent illegal aliens that Biden let loose to destroy our communities. Thankfully, the Trump administration is hunting them down." Now, this was a brilliant play by the administration. It basically forced outlets like MSNBC and CNN to finally acknowledge what they've ignored for years: faces of the people their policies just let walk free in our country. And when that didn't set right, they blurred their faces.
The Trump administration is approaching its first 100-day mark with a full court press on the issue of illegal immigration, and they really don't want you to miss it. CNN's working to confirm the identities and if there are actual allegations against these people. Until then, we are blurring their identities.
My advice to all of you watching, find someone to love you the way Democrats love to protect criminals. Now, over at Fox, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk, he had this to say.
President Trump will now be known as the Mugshot President. From the mugshot in Atlanta, Georgia, now the mugshots on the White House lawn. It drives them nuts because it actually puts a face and a name to this abstraction. You know what was a crisis that suddenly went away? The southern border. It's such a major win, the media just doesn't even talk about it anymore. Our Border Patrol agents are bored. Think of that, Jesse. They went from demoralized and many of them suicidal to now bored. They don't know what to do with their time.
So while this administration is rounding up the illegal criminals that Biden welcomed in with open arms, Michelle Obama is apparently struggling to sleep at night. According to the New York Post, the former First Lady said, quote, "My fears are for what I know is happening out there in streets all over the city, and that frightens me. It keeps me up at night." Has Michelle conveniently forgotten that her husband earned the title of deporter-in-chief? Does she not remember he deported approximately 3.2 million illegal immigrants? And Obama, just like Trump, prioritized individuals with criminal records, but he also deported several with minor or no criminal infractions. All right, border czar Tom Homan, he says Trump has dropped illegal crossings from over 15,000 a day to under 200. That's not just a stat. That's lives saved, predators caught, and fentanyl kept out of your communities. Homan also shared that in the past 4 years, we averaged 1,800 gotaways daily. On Sunday under Trump, we had 38. Here's Homan explaining how Trump's policies are saving lives.
President Trump's policies are saving lives every day. There's been studies done that says 31% of women that make that journey through use of cartels get sexually assaulted. When President Trump has illegal immigration down 96%, when 96% less people are coming, how many women aren't being sexually assaulted by the cartels? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this nation? How many known suspected terrorists aren't making it into this country? How many pounds of fentanyl isn't getting into this country to kill young Americans? How many women and children aren't sex trafficked? Under Joe Biden, sex trafficking is up 600%. We had 4,000 aliens dying making that journey. We had 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl that came across an open border. President Trump's policy saves lives every day.
Following those remarks, the media responded with a question that basically insinuated Biden's deportation numbers are better than Trump's. Watch Homan destroy this argument.
The ICE arrest removals are far beyond Biden. But I read the media. Oh, ICE, the deportations are behind Biden administration. Well, why? Because they counted border removals. We don't have 10.5 million people crossing the border. We don't have border removals. So Joe Biden could have deported 5% of his encounters, and numbers will still be higher than us on the border removals because we have a secure border, the most secure border in the history of this nation. Compare apples to apples, ICE arrests and deportations are far more than Joe Biden.
So while the Trump administration is touting immigration, legacy media is trying to create a whole new narrative in an effort to put the president on defense. My guess is it'll work as well as the fake polls did during the past presidential election.
We have a brand new CNN poll showing Americans are turning on him after propelling him back into office just 6 months ago.
There's only one data point where Trump is above 45%. It comes to his handling of gender identity policy. He's at 51%. Every other issue, immigration, where he has long been above water, look at this, below water, 45%.
Trump's also underwater on the issues of immigration, managing the federal government, the economy, trade, the Russia-Ukraine war, and the case involving Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
On his deportation plan continues to get majority approval, but it's in the details where we start to see some differences. You know, you see big majorities of Americans say, in principle, it is not acceptable if legal residents are mistakenly deported, mistakenly detained as a result of this program.
Sound familiar? because these are the same pollsters who told you Kamala Harris was going to sweep the battleground states and win the election. John McLaughlin, he is a well-respected pollster, and he wrote this on X, quote, "Getting inquiries about New York Times and ABC Washington Post polls about Donald Trump's approval ratings. New York Times has only 37% Trump 2024 voters. ABC Washington Post, only 34%. Didn't we win popular vote with 50%? Now, Trump responded on Truth Social, writing in part, quote, "These people should be investigated for election fraud, and add in the Fox News pollsters while you're at it. They are negative criminals who apologize to their subscribers and readers after I win elections big, much bigger than their polls showed I would win, lose a lot of credibility, and then go on cheating and lying for the next cycle." Rasmussen Reports also chimed in saying, quote, "Surveys from CNN, CBS, ABC, and the Washington Post, NBC, and the New York Times can all be safely ignored, except no substitute for accuracy in polling. None of these have explained this or apologized." They're, of course, referring to the polls you see there that showed Kamala Harris winning the presidential election, which clearly that didn't happen. In fact, it really wasn't even close. But again, this is just another scam by the media in an attempt to undermine President Trump's success. What the media clearly hasn't learned is that the American people are waking up, and lucky for you, we live in a time where you have options and can turn to alternative news sources like myself. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out this next video in case you missed it. Tom Homan and Marco Rubio, they do a media blitz and quickly knock down the dangerous narrative the media tries to paint, claiming the Trump administration is deporting U.S. children. Plus, you'll get an update on tariffs and the economy. Check it out now. Go ahead and click on it, and have a great rest of your day.